And it's right on brand because it's boring. I mean, the man would even call out the geometric angle of his shots mid-game.
Wait. 46.7 degrees. Oh, crap. The ball's initial upward velocity of 14.4 meters per second. After, dude, come on now. Equals 2 points. All right, welcome back to the show, everybody. Hope y'all are having a good day so far. So, I wanted to check out this video here. This is from a channel called Post 2K. A lot of you probably know about this one. And it's titled How Tim Duncan Became the Most Disrespected Superstar in NBA History. And coming off of the Jokic video yesterday, I think that's why I'm here naturally, because he is absolutely one of the most disrespected players in NBA history. He should be discussed amongst the greatest of all time, you know, like as far as like that top 10 list, and he should always be in there in my opinion. However, he gets underrated a lot just because, well, you know, Big Fundamental was not the most highlight friendly player, I guess you could say. So anyways, and honestly, I think that's the only reason why. It's simply because he is not that highlight friendly that people are not remembering him that much. But anyways, I figured this would be a cool way to, well, it's Thanksgiving time, you guys. So, you know, it's that season. So let's show some appreciation to one of the greats, Tim Duncan, Mr. Fundamental. Let's do this, guys. The link to the original video is going to be down below in the description. So if you want to check out Post 2K's channel, go right ahead. The link is down there. You'll also see a list of channel members. Shout out channel members. I appreciate you all very, very much. Guys, like the video if you could. Hit that hype button if you could. It all helps out. And nowadays, you need more help than ever to get into that algorithm. Yeah, because, yeah, my channel is tanking. Anyways, you guys, we battled through the storm. So here we go. Let's do this.
They say winning fixes everything, that as long as you have the trophies, history will remember your name. But what they don't tell you is that becoming the perfect winner can make you disappear. Tim Duncan won 5 championships, 3 finals MVPs, 2 regular season MVPs. He set a league record with 15 all-defensive selections, never missed the playoffs, and was the face of a dynasty that reigned over the NBA for decades. And yet, no one gives him the respect he deserves. He's the greatest power forward of all time, but barely cracks the top 10. He won 72% of the games he played in, but was carried by his supporting cast and an all-time great coach. In a sport where personalities and highlights often elevate perception, Timmy stayed in his lane, dominating in silence. He didn't possess the awe factor of a Kobe or a LeBron, but in a league that seems to put winning over everything, the ultimate winner remains underrated, despite doing everything right.
Yep. I mean, the crazy thing is he's got 5 rings just like Kobe does. But the rankings are so imbalanced when it comes to this. He's got the same amount of rings as Magic Johnson, you know? It's nothing to brush off. Who else really has 5?
Tim Duncan was born and raised in the US Virgin Islands, a quiet Caribbean haven that felt a million miles away from a league he'd go on to dominate decades later. But in his early years, those dreams of performing in front of millions wouldn't take place on the hardwood. Instead, the pool. In his early teens, Duncan was an elite, competitive freestyle swimmer with his sights set on the 1992 Olympics. But fate had other plans. In September of 1989, Hurricane Hugo hit the island, destroying the only Olympic-sized pool they had. And with nowhere to take his talents, Duncan shifted away from swimming and gravitated towards basketball. At 14,
yeah, I heard him talk about it recently, actually, and he said after that storm, like his love and his like will to swim kind of just faded, you know, and then basketball was just right there for him all of a sudden, and he fell in love.
Years old and already over 6 feet tall, Timmy picked up a basketball for the first time, and the kid was—
how old was he? Hold on, let me back this up 1 second, sorry.
And gravitated towards basketball. At 14 years old and
14.
already over 6 feet tall, Timmy picked up a basketball for the first time.
I guess that just goes to prove it, guys. It's never too late to try something new. 14 years old, and like what? About five to 6 years later, he's in the NBA. And then you fast forward, and he's one of the greatest of all time. Like, starting at 14 is crazy.
And the kid was a natural.
Yeah.
His swimming background gave him elite footwork, coordination, body control, and balance. And as he grew to 6'9" by his senior year, a scholarship was awaiting him at Wake Forest University.
Yep.
By his sophomore season, Tim was regarded as one of the top prospects in the country. Jerry West said he would have likely been selected first overall had he declared for the 1995 draft. But to everyone's surprise, he didn't, because Tim had a promise to keep. 5 years prior, on April 24th, 1990, just a day before Duncan's 14th birthday, he made a promise to his dying mother on her deathbed that he would go to college and get his degree. There was no chance he was leaving school early. This was more than basketball.
Okay.
Timmy went on to win countless awards, dominate the college stage, and finish his senior year as the top player in the country.
Okay, see, I didn't know that about him. I didn't know he spent all 4 years in college. That's rare.
But most importantly, he got that degree. A hurricane
that just shows how much it meant to him to honor his mother in that situation. Because, I mean, anything could have happened. He could have gotten injured in that time. He's turning down guaranteed life-changing money for him and his family, but he really wanted to see that promise through. I just tells you a little bit about who the guy is.
Seemingly ended his dreams just 8 years ago was the very thing that led him here. It was a blessing in disguise.
With the first pick in the 1997 NBA draft, the San Antonio Spurs select Tim Duncan from Wake Forest University.
That's crazy. When this happened, I didn't know who the hell Tim Duncan was. I had no idea what he was about to become.
Drafted first overall in 1997, Duncan was joining a San Antonio Spurs team that had been chasing a title for over a decade, with one of the game's premier players in David Robinson. And now with another polished big man and a newly established head coach in Greg Popovich, the Spurs foundation was complete. Duncan instantly became a top player in the league, averaging 21, 12, 2, and 2.5 blocks.
Dude, rookie season numbers, 21, 12, 2.7 and 2.5 blocks per game. Okay.
To win the Rookie of the Year award. The kid was exactly as advertised, mature, steady, and built for this league. San Antonio's season, though, ended in the second round, but it was just a test run. And what came next was a complete paradigm shift.
Real quick, was this the last time we had a duo that we considered the Twin Towers? I'm trying to think. But I think this is the last time we actually said Twin Towers about a group. Let me know in the comments, guys.
In 1999, the Twin Towers anchored.
There you go. There you go. I was just thinking there's going to be a handful of people who are going to argue against me, but we did say this. We did. And then he said it too. So, all right. There you go. Rescind your comment.
The number one defense in the NBA, and blitzed the West with an 11-1 record to make the finals for the first time in franchise history. And the 22-year-old
Avery
felt right at home. With all eyes on him, Duncan was calm, stoic, and just cool as a cucumber as he laid the hammer on New York, averaging 27 points, 14 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 blocks to win the World Championship.
27
while
of 14.
becoming the second youngest player in history to capture the Finals MVP.
27 of 14, man, that young?
2 years into his career, Timmy had accomplished what many players spend an entire career chasing.
Yeah.
But now came the hard part. He'd have to do it again.
And honestly, I was so happy. I didn't care too much about Tim Duncan yet at this point. It wasn't until, well, you know, I'd say about 2001 where I'm like, okay, I'll tell you exactly what it is. At this point, I was just happy to see David Robinson win a championship. So I thanked, in my heart, it was like, thanks Tim for helping him win a championship. I still didn't think he was going to be that successful on his own. I really didn't believe it. I thought he was anchoring off of David Robinson, and that was making him that successful in the power forward position. However, I was incredibly wrong. So around 2001, by the time David Robinson left and Tim Duncan wasn't just successful, he actually upped his game. That's when I realized this guy's something special for real.
The NBA is a what have you done for me lately type of league.
Yeah.
Once you win that big gold trophy, it becomes the standard for every season. Cool, you won. Now do it again. The bar for a young Tim Duncan was unfathomably high. And with this type of perspective, the year 2000 was seen as a failure. Just a week before the start of the playoffs, Duncan put Scott Pollard in a body bag. But he tore his meniscus in the process. San Antonio lost in round 1 and the title defense was over. 2001 seemed like it'd be his year of redemption. They finished with the top record in the league, but got swept by the Kobe Shaq Lakers at the peak of their powers. San Antonio's Western Conference Finals loss had exposed what the common belief was around their team. They were only getting older. Duncan was in the early stages of his prime, but the rest of the roster needed a spark, and the 2001 draft provided it.
With the 28th pick in the 2001 draft, the San Antonio Spurs select Tony Parker of Racing Club Paris, France.
A young Frenchman named Tony Parker was added to the roster, the first piece of a young Spurs overhaul. In 2002, Duncan officially took the torch as the face of the franchise.
Did they still have Avery at this point, or did they trade him off to make room for Tony? I don't remember Tony starting right off the bat, was he?
And he lit the league on fire with it, averaging 25, 12, 3, and 2 to win his first career MVP trophy.
Nice.
No flash, no crazy headlines, it was just business for Timmy. And considering the fit he wore to accept his MVP trophy, it was right on brand. A red Nike tee, jorts, and sandals.
That's also why I like the dude. He's very, very relatable as a human being. He's just a regular dude who happens to be really good at basketball. And also, he's not an attention whore, Once he retired, he basically just disappeared into his normal life, living a normal human life. And I respect that as well. Even though I wouldn't mind if once every couple of years he came out and did an interview or something so we could just hear some stories. But I totally understand why he's yep, my job is done. I'm not playing basketball no more. Time for me to go live the rest of my life in a happy way.
It was your typical Tim Duncan attire. However, all the fun ended in round 2 with another loss to the Lakers.
Freaking Lakers,
as
man.
They go on to three-peat, giving Duncan all the fuel he needed. 2003 marked the start of a new era in San Antonio. It was David Robinson's final season.
Oh, okay, so it was 03. It was his last year. Okay.
Tony Parker was entering his second, and Manu Ginobili, who the Spurs drafted in 1999, was finally making his NBA debut. It was a breath of fresh air. Duncan won his second MVP, becoming just the 8th player to go back-to-back.
Wow. So we got Wilt, we got Russ, we got Kareem. Wow, what good company he's in, man. Moses Malone, Larry Bird. Yeah, he won 3. I'm sorry. So did Wilt. He won 3 in a row. And so did Russ. And so did Kareem. Kareem won 2 in a row. Okay, I see what I'm doing wrong here. So yeah, Wilt had 3. Russ had 3 in a row. Kareem had 2 in a row twice. Moses had 2. Bird had 3 in a row. And then, we got Magic with 2 in a row. MJ with 2 in a row. And now Duncan with 2 in a row. That's crazy company he's in right there. Wow.
Many were calling Duncan the best player in the world. But with what the Lakers have done to him in the playoffs the last couple seasons, there was only one way to cement that title. For the 3rd year in a row, we had Lakers versus Spurs in the postseason, LA chasing a 4th straight title, and San Antonio looking to get back on top. And the big fundamental went mental. After splitting the first 4 games of the series, we had a pivotal Game 5 where Duncan went berserk for 27, 14, and 5 in a huge 2-point win. Then in Game 6 on the champs floor, Timmy goes for 37 points, 16 boards, 4 dimes, and 2 blocks, alongside a scorching 27 and 5 performance from Parker.
Yeah, you're earning your wings. 37, 16, 4, and 2. In the dead ball era. Okay.
The Spurs avenge their playoff demons and kill the Lakers dynasty. A German wizard would await them in the conference finals, but the MVP reigned supreme, averaging 28, 16, 5, and 3 on the series to book a ticket back to the NBA finals.
Guys, those rebounds are no joke. Like, what the hell, dude? What the hell? It's rare you see any player really averaging in a series or any situation in a season, averaging more than 10. It's hard. But, you know, you got guys like Dennis Rodman and Barkley did it for a little while. It's just really rare to see numbers like that, 16 a game.
And in the spotlight, at home in Game 6, with a shot to clinch the title, Duncan put up the single greatest performance of his career.
And the NBA Finals Game 6 comes to you from the SBC Center in San Antonio, Texas. The New Jersey Nets and the San Antonio Spurs. New Jersey hoping to push it another game. The Spurs can end it right here tonight.
Detroit series, the Eastern Conference Finals. He had to miss some time.
Tim Duncan back inside of Martin. Blocked by Duncan. Nice beat inside. Block shot is for the tie. Got it. Matumbo. Duncan.
Well, I hear the copywritten music right there. So super shout out to members. This is probably going to get copyrighted as well.
Not from out there he won't. And Duncan got another. Now it's Duncan. Back it in. The kick out. Jackson's hit 2 big threes. He's hit 3. San Antonio, a lot of people talked about their 99 title having an asterisk next to it. The 2003 title.
Oh, yeah, because the lockdown.
The San Antonio Spurs are your world champions.
It's funny, that always goes into the narrative that the Bulls could have actually won 4 straight. And no disrespect to that Spurs team, but imagine that. You win 3 championships in a row. The thing you need most desperately is rest. So what do you get? You get the rest because it's a lockout. You come back for a shortened season. Oh, man, I wish we got to see it. Stupid Bulls front office. Imagine it. Tim Duncan, David Robinson, Avery, and Pop versus the freaking Chicago Bulls. Like, that's the finals we deserved.
21 points, 20 rebounds, 10 assists, and 8 blocks.
What? Okay, first and only 2020-10-5 finals game in NBA history. What the hell, man? Look at those numbers.
A near quadruple double in a closeout finals game to win the title. It was the cherry on top to one of the greatest individual seasons the league has ever seen. All-Star, All-NBA First Team All-Defense, Championship, MVP, and Finals MVP.
Yeah, I hate to admit it, this is when he finally really caught my attention.
Duncan was on top, undisputably. And for good measure, the Spurs rewarded him with a monster 7-year, $122 million contract.
He earned every penny.
Life was good, and his game was at its peak. Tim was imposing his will in every facet of the game on both sides of the ball. No wasted motion, no unnecessary flair, just clean-cut, efficient basketball. And just like every great, he had that signature shot too. The bank shot, a weapon that no other player in the history of the game has mastered. And it's right on brand because it's boring. I mean, the man would even call out the geometric angle of his shots mid-game.
Wait. 46.7 degrees. Oh, crap. The ball's initial upward velocity of 14.4 meters per second. Dude, come on now. Equals 2 points.
He was a freak. San Antonio was home to the greatest player in the game, and with their eyes set on a repeat in 2004, the Spurs would meet a familiar foe in the second round. the Lakers, for a 4th consecutive season, leading to a pivotal Game 5 in San Antonio.
That's also what makes all those Lakers championships so special, and also all the San Antonio's championships so special. As a Suns fan, trust me, we were trying to get past these guys. Sometimes we can get past one, we couldn't get past both. It just wasn't going to happen. The gauntlet of the West was insane. So the fact that they were able to not only win those championships, but to get through it, they had to get through each other. It's crazy. It's crazy.
On 1 with 11.5 seconds to go in the 4th, the best player in the world came through.
To Duncan.
Clear out, clear out.
He gets doubled. Shaq all over him. He gets away and fadeaway. He makes it with 4/10 left. Unbelievable.
With 0.4 on the clock and Shaq draped all over him, Duncan makes one of the most improbable shots of his career. They just need 0.4 seconds of good defense.
Y'all remember this? I watched this live. Oh no.
Take a 3-2 series lead.
Here they go. They get it to Fisher.
Jeez.
He scores! Derek Fisher scores at the buzzer.
I remember cursing at the TV like endlessly because of this. Like I was so mad. How do you get a shot? How do you get a shot off in 0.4 seconds? No, that shit. I don't know. Am I just a Laker hater, guys? I never felt like that should have counted.
Have to be reviewed. They'll review it.
Yeah, they reviewed it for like an hour.
Insanity. I don't know how else to describe it. Derek Fisher gets the ball off his fingertips with 1 millisecond left on the clock.
But did the clock start right when he caught it though?
Burying one of the clutchest, series-altering shots in history.
It's a fadeaway jumper.
Duncan is shook. LA took all the momentum, winning Game 6 at home, and in the blink of an eye, the Spurs season is over.
Yep.
It was without a doubt the most heartbreaking loss in San Antonio Spurs history.
And this isn't around that time because it started in, I think, 0-2 against Sacramento, Lakers versus Sacramento, where I was, I was calling it for what I saw it. I was like, this shit's fixed. You know what I mean? That series, I do believe, was fixed. My apologies if it was 0-3 versus 0-2. It was a long time ago at this point. But you guys know the series. The one that Sacramento definitely should have won. And the refs had a different agenda in mind. So coming off of that, and then so soon after that, we have this 0.4 shot from Derek Fisher. Amazing shot, by the way. Whether it would count or not, what a damn shot. But I just never felt like it should have counted. And it was one of those things. I felt like if it was any other team other than the Lakers, that shot wouldn't have counted. But, that's how I felt back then.
So what better way to bounce back than another heartbreak? Coming off the loss to LA, Duncan was off to Athens to represent the US in the Olympics, fulfilling a childhood dream, just to suffer a humiliating collapse as the States got the bronze medal. Overnight, Tim became the face of USA's greatest Olympic meltdown, not winning for the first time in over a decade, in a country where the gold medal is the only acceptable outcome.
That's why we switched to pros in general in '92 in Barcelona. It was such a huge spectacle, the dream team, but the whole reason was, well, the college guys can't get it done anymore against the world because the world is getting better and better. So, but this was a big deal. This was a really big deal because we've been getting easy golds with the professionals in. And then all of a sudden, a team full of NBA players, this was really disappointing. And honestly, the more I look at it, like, where were the veterans, man? It was such a young team. I really think it should have been a more veteran-based team, especially with a coach like Larry Brown. Like, he doesn't like young players very much. They don't get along very well. They don't speak the same language, They don't see eye to eye on anything. So a coach like Larry Brown, stack him with some veterans. They probably would have won.
Like I said earlier, the NBA is a what have you done for me lately type of league, and all anyone paid attention to were Duncan's recent failures. And the only way to wash this bad taste out of his mouth was with champagne. The following season, we had the last two champions facing off for the 05 title, and it was an all-world defensive chess match.
This was a hell of a series.
It was ugly and hard-fought, which made winning even sweeter. At home in Game 7, San Antonio captures their third title in 7 years as Duncan silences every bit of doubt from the media, capturing his third Finals MVP trophy, joining Jordan, Magic, and Shaq as the only players to accomplish such a feat.
Wait, can you say that? Oh, 3-time. Really? 3-time Finals MVP? Only Magic, Shaq, and Duncan? I didn't know that. Okay.
Timmy redeemed himself, and at a time when he can snap back at all his doubters and boast about his greatness, he'd rather give his teammates all the credit.
This trophy is definitely an honor, but this team has so many MVPs. There's so many different guys here just laid it on the line. Bruce, Mano, Tony, these guys just laid it on the line every night, and we couldn't have made this far without any one of them, so every one of them's an MVP.
I love that. I absolutely love that. That's a good leader.
The redemption title in 2005 was followed by an off year in 2006, but the Spurs were right back at it in 2007, set on reclaiming their throne atop the NBA, and standing in their way was a young phenom. San Antonio was facing a raw 22-year-old
this was no problem.
LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers, who stood no match to the veteran Spurs dynasty.
You know what? You know who won this series? Popovich won this series. Simple game plan to stop LeBron James, dare him to shoot, and then when he drives to the basket, you collapse on him. That's it. Simple thing to do. If he counters that, then we'll talk about something else, but he never countered it. So this was a cakewalk.
San Antonio sweeps as they're back on the mountaintop with title number 4 in a span of just 9 years. However, in the midst of celebrating a decade of pure dominance, Duncan shares a moment with LeBron, foreshadowing a future that became reality.
Hey man, I love how you are with your teammates, man. Stay that way, man. Stay that way. You're gonna drive these guys. It's gonna be your league in a little while. But I appreciate you giving us this year.
Over the next 5 seasons, San Antonio suffered a decline that had been inevitable. You can only be on top for so long. The NBA was getting younger, moving faster, shaped by a mix of old and
Can
new.
we just watch this again? My God, Derrick Rose, man.
The NBA was getting younger, moving faster, shaped by a mix of old and new faces, establishing their legacies on the game. The Celtics finally broke through. Kobe made his way back on top twice.
Anything is possible.
Dirk went through hell and back to capture his first.
Yeah, possibly the greatest champions of all time, man. Like, not enough could be said about the 2011 Mavericks run.
And that young kid that Duncan spoke to in the locker room had fulfilled the prophecy.
Yeah, but he didn't do it the way Duncan expected him to. He didn't think he was going to go team, super team building and all this stuff.
The league was his. Despite
I'll always be mad, dude. I'll always be mad at LeBron for that. He should have stayed with Cleveland and won a championship before he left. He was right on the verge, man. Right on the freaking verge. Just get a little better. Get your team a little better. You know, work on that crap in practice. You have a whole regular... Anyways, I'm going to move on.
Playoffs all of these seasons, San Antonio was just a step behind. The need to shift towards speed and youth was urgent. And that's exactly what they did. On draft night 2011, the Spurs traded for the rights to a promising two-way player out of San Diego State named Kawhi Leonard. Then in 2012, Duncan played his hand perfectly. During the offseason, Tim signed a 3-year, $30 million extension with the Spurs. An absolutely massive pay cut for one of the greatest players the game has ever seen.
So now when you see guys like an old LeBron James taking like $57 million a year and then wondering why he's not winning championships, this is what it takes, man. When you're an old veteran and you can't be the lead producer anymore on your team, which is his scenario, don't take the most money. Don't do that. Leave it for somebody else. You know, leave it for somebody else. You're still making, what, 10 million here? So if LeBron took 20 million instead of 57, they'd have a better team because they'd have more money to go around. You'd have a better chance of winning more championships. That's why Duncan got 5.
This move gave San Antonio the flexibility to re-sign Danny Green, Boris Diaw, and Patty Mills.
Yeah.
The man is as unselfish and loyal as they come. He's willing to do anything to win. And it paid off. In 2013, Duncan had his best statistical season in over 3 years, and the young guns they'd acquired were a perfect fit. Another Spurs run was brewing. They swept Kobe in round 1, beat a sharpshooting Warriors team in 6, before sweeping the grit and grind Grizzlies to return to the NBA Finals for the first time in 6 years.
Dare I say it, that was the best Grizzlies team of all time.
Where Timmy will face the NBA's new king.
Oh, yeah.
The 2013 Finals is revered as one of the greatest series in history, and it led us to Game 6, with the Spurs up 3-2 in the series and up 5 with 28 seconds left. In this game, Duncan's turned back the clock with a vintage 30-17 night. But on this possession, the greatest defensive player of the last decade is nowhere to be seen. In fact, he's on the bench. See, Popovich had the...
I know, and all they needed was a rebound. All they needed was a freaking rebound here, man. And whose job is that? It's Tim Duncan's job.
Philosophy of going small to defend the 3. But it didn't go as planned. LeBron misses
come on. Guys, this is the series on the line, basically, and this is LeBron's shot. Like... He had a clean look, too. Didn't even hit the rim. Wow. Man. Shout out to Chris Bosh and Ray Allen.
Misses a triple, Miami gets the offensive rebound, James reloads and nails it to cut the lead to 2. Kawhi makes
that
1 or 2 free throws.
That play, okay.
And once again, Popovich leaves Duncan on the bench for another critical defensive possession. Man. The look on Tim's face.
But yeah, same thing goes for that play, though. What do they need? A rebound. That offensive rebound led to 3 points for LeBron James.
Is all you need to see.
Oh, no.
Go for the 3 right away. Just attack the basket.
Oh, here we go again.
Catches, puts up a 3.
Clank again.
Won't go. Rebound, Bosh. Back out to Allen.
Yep.
His 3-point.
The rebound and the shot. So LeBron clanks 2 out of 3 of these clutch threes, like clanks them. And it converts into 6 total points, both off of an offensive rebound. Both that might, more than likely, wouldn't have happened if Tim Duncan was on the floor. Popovich, man, it was you who was behind, that strategy to beat LeBron James when he was on the Cavs. But it was also you who did this crap. I can't believe he did this. Like, he didn't learn after the first one when he didn't get the offensive rebound. He did it twice. You got to put Timmy in there, man.
Bang! Tie game with 5 seconds remaining.
Crazy.
Because they were trying to prevent the 3, they take Duncan out, who is their best rebounder. Yep. Ray Allen is able to reestablish and knock in the game-tying 3.
What if is the only way to describe this sequence. Had Duncan been in the game, he likely ends up with both defensive rebounds and the Spurs celebrate a return to glory.
know.
But instead, Ray Allen hits the clutchest shot of all time, reminiscent of the Derek Fisher heartbreaker in 2004.
Also, shout out to Bosh for making a quick decision like that. Like, immediately he had eyes on Ray Allen, and that's a high stakes, high pressure situation.
Miami goes on to win the game in overtime, but the series isn't over. In Game 7, with a minute to go, down 2, Duncan gets the ball in his sweet spot on the left block.
Back to Ginobili, inside Duncan, across the lane. Duncan misses the tip, no good, and Bosh the rebound.
And that is like a gimme for Tim Duncan. I can't believe he missed that. That's automatic for him.
Missed by Duncan, and then the follow.
Damn. Yeah, you know.
Duncan shockingly misses a shot that he's made his entire career.
It doesn't get easier than that.
He smacks the floor and simply cannot believe it on the bench. LeBron comes back down and ices the game with the jumper. The Heat celebrate back-to-back titles as the Spurs suffer the most gut-wrenching 2-game stretch you will ever see.
Not one.
With the clock ticking on Tim Duncan's career, this may have been his last shot at a title. How will they respond? The answer is with perfection.
Yep, here we go. This is what I like to call a little revenge now.
The 2014 Spurs played the game at its purest form. Good looks turned into great looks. The ball was jumping. Everybody ate. It was like if Tim Duncan was a team.
Look at the ball movement.
It was perfect fundamental team basketball. They'd go on to survive the gauntlet in the West to return to the NBA Finals. And surprise, surprise, they have the opportunity to enact revenge on the team that broke their hearts a year ago. And I'd like to give you a detailed breakdown of this series, but I don't think I could formulate sentences that could put what the Spurs did into perspective. So I'll just let their game do the talking.
Welcome you once again to San Antonio, Texas, where we're set.
I got
for
a big
game
old
one
grin on my face
of the
right now
2014
watching
NBA
this.
Finals between the San Antonio Spurs and the Miami Heat did reset as they felt they had possession. Oh, Duncan on the follow.
Nice editing.
Parker, Ginobili for three.
Ginobili.
San Antonio's defense has been much better.
Mills, not that time. Leonard on the follow. Leonard fakes the three. Pass inside, Dion and Duncan for the finish. Once again, spectacular ball movement. Leonard for three. 9. First lead of the game for the Spurs. The Heat have gone cold. Ginobili on the finish. Pushes it with the left hand. Wade blocked by Splitter. It was
That's a big time block.
Here, Splitter gets his revenge. Mills.
Diao, I always had problems with him in Phoenix because he was kind of soft, but man, he's a hell of a passer. Great facilitator.
Here in this third quarter, Mills.
Patty.
This 9-4 of the game. Leonard pushes out to Ginobili. Puts it in. What an avalanche from San Antonio. A 21-point lead. And the final seconds set to tick off. San Antonio is back on top once again. The Spurs are the 2014 NBA champions.
Crazy.
A year ago, they were down and out. A year later, they pull off the greatest redemption tour the league has ever seen, dismantling the Miami Heat in 5 games with an average win margin of 18 points.
I mean, he beat their asses so bad, he sent LeBron right back to Ohio.
Duncan joins rare air with his 5th NBA title, including 3 of them in 3 different decades. Nearing the end of an illustrious career, this one may just be the sweetest. And this time around, the 22-year-old Kawhi Leonard is the finals MVP.
There's Bill Russell, man. I miss seeing him around like this.
Another torch being passed in San Antonio.
Gonna miss you too, Pop.
From Robinson to Duncan, and now from Duncan to Leonard. It was a perfect storybook season for the San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah, and then Kawhi Leonard messed that up.
After the jubilation that was 2014, Duncan would go on to play 2 more seasons, but the Spurs were never able to reach those heights again. To no shock, Duncan's final moments on the hardwood took place in the postseason, as his career came to an end in Game 6 of the Western Conference semifinals in Oklahoma City. No farewell tour, no big press conference, none of that. Just a quiet, fitting exit for one of the greatest and most underappreciated superstars this game has ever seen.
Yep, no farewell tour, none of that stuff. Just goodbye. Great video. Great video. Oh. All right, that's gonna do it. You know, first thing that comes to my mind is, you guys ever see those things, you know, that float around of if you had to build a franchise right now, who would you pick as your guy to build around? Tim Duncan's hard to argue against. He really is. He really is. And I always think, you know, it's funny because I see like people throw around names like LeBron James or Kevin Durant or something, and I'm like, the first thing on my mind when I'm thinking about like building a team is, are you gonna stick around during the hard times? You know? And that's where like Tim Duncan just rises right to the top for me. Tim Duncan, I mean, you could also say like Larry Bird, Magic Johnson. These are all great choices. But yeah, I mean, Steph Curry, you know, guys like that always go to the top of my list. So that's what I'm going to leave you guys with here, is I'm going to ask you if you, honestly, if I had to give one solid answer, because I got to see how it all play out, it would probably be Tim Duncan. Why? Because his career lasted the longest. Out of all the other guys that I'm listing, it's either him or Steph Curry, but I prefer Tim Duncan in this scenario. But all right, I want you guys to answer the question. If you guys had any basketball player, you know, you could say Bill Russell, you could say Wilt Chamberlain, whatever you want. If you had to build a team around one guy, who would it be? And I'm forgetting somebody obvious too, and you all know who that is. So if you wanna throw that name out there, honestly, that is probably gonna be the winner, because that's probably the right answer. But anyways, you guys, put it down below. Y'all know who I'm talking about, but put your honest answer, because, you know, there's a little bit of favoritism in this. So, you know, it's got to be who you think is the best to build around. And that's the key. Like, you're the owner, and this is the one piece you have. Now we're going to build around this for the next, like, 20 years. Yeah. All right, guys. I'm going to head out. It's good to appreciate some Tim Duncan stuff today. And, you know, some Jokic yesterday. And, you know, it feels good. It feels good. So, anyways, I am out of here, guys. Like the video if you could. Hit that hype button if you could on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this. And most importantly, is to be water, my friends. Peace out.